Okay, hello everybody. Today we are going to be reviewing the show The Pentaverate, which is about, if you have seen this show, you'll know exactly what it's about. Oh man. Huh. I guess it was a limited series. I did not know that. So maybe, interesting. I didn't know it was a limited series. Hmm. I thought there was going to be another season, but I guess there's only going to be one season of it. Now maybe there's going to be because this show was a limited series, maybe there's going to be a second season or a new series with a new secret society they created. I think that would be kind of cool. So this is about a man. Now, let's just see. How many characters does... Holy crap. Okay, he plays a lot of characters in this show. Um, yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to see who the real main cast is. There's quite a few people in this show, and there was quite a few guest appearances too. So I'm just trying to figure out who all the more main people were that were in this show. Okay, so we have Mike Myers, who we haven't really seen do anything too mainstream in quite some time. Um, and I guess now that he's got this show with Netflix, even though it seems that it's being kind of seems weird that it would be canceled after one season. But maybe that was the point of the show. I'm so confused. I guess we'll see because I kind of want to see what before we really get talking about the show, what projects he has coming up because I'm kind of oh interesting. Okay, so apparently an Austin Powers 4 is in development, so I guess we'll see if we get it. And then he has some sort of project called Amsterdam. Okay, he's in that movie too. Interesting. So, hmm. But nothing about. Huh. I didn't realize this was a mini-series. Anyhow, so Mike Myers plays quite a few characters, but the main one being Ken Scarborough, who is a news analyst for CACA News, which is literally just spells caca news. So, oh my god. And then he had what was it? He played an American too. Um, who was like a conspiracy theorist who had like his own show. I'm trying to think. It was supposed to be like a play on Info. What was Alex's Jones show? InfoWars, I believe. I think they called it Truth Battle or something in the Pentaverate show. So this is about a secret society called the Pentaverate who is supposed to be nice. Supposed to be filled with a group of nice people who basically recruit anybody, even though it is currently run by five older white men. So not necessarily the most diverse group, but I guess they are trying anyway. And I have a bunch of bugs just flying around. I swear to God, there's got to be like a nest or something somewhere. Living in a basement sucks sometimes, but it is what it is. And now I got to look for some baby spiders because there was a bunch upstairs. So I'm kind of wondering if there's any down here. I see something on the ceiling, so I'll get that after I do my reviews. But anyhow, so yes, they are recruiting a bunch of new people into the Pentaverate, and also one important thing you should listen to is the intro to the show every time because it is it is funny. It is as funny just as the rest of the show is. And Jeremy Irons voice of the does the voice. Oh my God, does the voice for the intro of the show, and he explains what's going on or what's kind of going to happen in each episode. sort of thing. And then Maria Menounos is the like Pentaverate TV host, so that was kind of funny. And Debbie Mazur played Patty Davis, who was, I guess, sort of like almost like the secretary for the Pentaverate. It was kind of weird. Although she had other skills as well too, other than just bringing them their stuff. And then Richard McCabe played Pikeman Higgins, who was the. Now there was the Redcoats, I think, and then there was the. What was the other? What were the Knights called? Oh my God! I just finished it today too, and I can't think. It's gonna bug me now. It must say somewhere. So I guess the Pentaverate has been around since the Black Plague in 1347. And I'm trying to think of the names of the knights that were the guards for the Pentaverate before they brought in the. I believe it was the Redcoats that they brought in. That I think it was Bruce Baldwin that brought them in. Yeah, because Mike Myers played a lot of characters: Bruce Baldwin, Ken Scarborough, Lord Lordington, Mishu Ivanov, Shep Gordon, Anthony Lansdowne, and there was others too, I do believe. Oh yeah, Rex Smith and Jason Eccleston. Wow, so he had 8 roles in that show alone. That's crazy. So they first bring on, who I wasn't even expecting to be in this show, Keegan-Michael Key, who played Hobart Clark, who was a scientist, and he was trying to crack cold fusion. So the Pentaverate was basically trying to solve global warming, or at least that was their main goal at this point. So they bring him in to crack cold fusion in the hopes that he would be able to help them solve climate change and I guess make the world a better place once again, because obviously, as we know, climate change is a huge factor, especially over the last decade. I think as a Canadian, I can definitely attest to that the storms over here are getting much worse, and even though I'm young, I remember what it was like, like 20 years ago. We used to have a pretty normal winter, and now it seems winter is almost non-existent, and we kind of get spurts where it's like really massive amounts of snow, and then it'll be hot again, and then I can imagine probably in another 10 to 12 years there won't even be a winter here. It'll just be pretty much like a summer and then spring almost the rest of the calendar year. That's kind of my guess as to what is going to happen, because obviously the storm cells or the storm patterns have definitely changed over the last decade for sure. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see where that's going to go. So they bring him in, and then I believe he is the first one to be killed besides one of Michael Myers' characters. So they bring him in out of the death of that guy, and then when Hobart Clark dies, they bring in Skip Cho, who was played by Ken Jeong, and him and Bruce Baldwin are, I guess, trying to deceive the other Pentaverate members, and they're the bad guys within the Pentaverate, and then at the end of the show, all the Pentaverate members end up having to kill themselves due to the fact that they, I guess, agreed upon the fact that if the Pentaverate ever became corrupted, that they would just, end their lives basically, because they would have become the bad guys, even though they ended up killing the one guy who was the leader of the first set of knights there. I wish I could remember the names of the knights and the Pentaverate. I'm going to have to look that up because it's going to bug me if I don't. Names of guards. Whoops, can I spell? Ugh. Okay, this should tell me here, hopefully. Let's see. Oh, come on. Yeah. Maybe it'll tell me. There's got to be something. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about the knights here that I can see, just with a quick glance. But anyway, I think that was basically the whole premise of the show, was that they were trying to be the good guys, and they ended up becoming obviously corrupted, and the Bruce Baldwin guy wanted to sell their supercomputer called the Mentor to the highest bidder, and obviously that didn't work out so well, because most of the people that were there in the room left, except for a few people, and then obviously Ken Scarborough comes in with the Knights and saves the day, sort of thing. And I believe it was Anthony Lansdowne was the one that was the conspiracy theorist that first brought in Ken to kind of believing in the Pentaverate as well, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't remember. I think it was him. There's so many. Because, yeah, I think it was Lord Dorrington, Bruce Baldwin, Misha Ivanov, and Shep Gordon that were the four. That were the four guys that were part of the Pentaverate. And then obviously they brought in the scientist, and then they brought in the other guy. And then I don't think there was any other members besides Jason Esselstyn that was there before the other two, right? So yeah, it must have been Anthony Lansdowne that was the conspiracy theorist that met him at the Toronto Sportsman Show. And then we also had Lydia West, who I guess was also a Pentaverate member, who had helped Lord Lordington bring in Ken from Canada to help them with their mission, because I guess maybe they had known that there was something going on in the Pentaverate, obviously. So yeah, they were trying to shut everything down before it could happen, but unfortunately that wasn't what ends up happening. Then he has to go to this place called the Meadows, and yeah, stop everything from happening. It was just a whole mess. But the comedic genius in this show was really well done. I think Mike Myers it almost felt like, in a sense, that he had just brought all of his old movies and shows and whatever else he had done and kind of melted them into one, because I got a lot of Austin Powers vibes from certain parts of the show, and I got some Love Guru vibes, obviously with a Russian character, and definitely a lot of Austin Powers throwbacks, I would say. What else can I really... What else was there that might have been kind of thrown into this? I can't really think of what else he's done where he's kind of played like very vast, different amount of characters. I didn't really feel like any Wayne's World kind of references. Maybe a little bit with the conspiracy theorist guy, I suppose. Possibly. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of twists and turns in the show for sure. There's so much happened that I might actually have to go back and watch this again just to kind of do another review of it. And then obviously the Sasquatch that everybody thought was fake that ended up being real when they went over to the other. I can't. There's so many different names of places in this show that it's all just kind of melding together. Anyway, when they went over to the other spot to get the key, and then when Ken touched it, he was the only one that could use it after that, I guess. Um, so yeah, Bruce Baldwin had to capture him and drug him and take him to the meadows to get him to use the key. And oh my God, what a mess! You would think that they would have set it up a little bit better for themselves, right? Uh, but yeah, they couldn't figure out who was killing everybody, and it ends up being one of the Pentaverate members themselves. So I guess they weren't really all good anyway, because they ended up killing the guy who was. Yeah, they ended up killing Higgins anyway. They put his head on a spike. So yeah, kind of an interesting thing for them to do. But um, I did give the show a 7 out of 10 because it did kind of remind me a lot of like his older work, in a sense where he yeah, like I said, melded it all together. I hope I did a good enough job on this review, because I kind of feel like I almost feel like even though I watched the show, I missed a bunch of stuff because I just felt like a lot was happening in one show. Yeah, and there's a lot to remember in 6 episodes, right? And even though you're paying attention and kind of laughing, I think you're missing a lot of the key points that the show is trying to make. Um, so yeah, I feel like it deserves a second watch just so I can kind of remember the names of all the places they went to and everything that was actually happening. Because yeah, I think I was more focused on the jokes and everything else than what the Pentaverate was actually all about. And then they created the new after Ken puts a soul into the supercomputer there. Oh my God, I remember the name of it. The Mentor, was that it? I know I said it earlier. He puts a soul into the supercomputer and he becomes the new supercomputer. Um, so he creates this new society called the Septaverate, I believe. So I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be another like mini series with that being the focus. I guess we'll see. That would be kind of interesting, I think. Other than that, I guess that's pretty much all I can say for this review, because that's really all I remember. And then what was the train called? The Musk, I believe? No, that's not right. Can't be. Was it? I'm trying to think now. I don't think that's what the train was called that took them from place to place, but it was kind of interesting. Part of the show as well. Uh, yeah, I guess that's really all I can say, because I can't remember the names of the nights, and I can't think of, for the life of me, some of the places they went to, even though I just watched the show. Damn it. Anyway, I think I told enough that this is going to be a good enough review, I hope. I am going to go back and watch this show, actually, and probably do a review of it later. If not later this year, then probably early next year, and we'll see maybe if there's another mini-series that goes along with it. Who knows? Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now. Did I say my rating? I think I did. I think I said it's 7 out of 10. See, I've talked so much now I can't remember if I said the rating of it. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.